Hey there fellow YouTubers, Max here. I figured I'd do a vlog in honor of 9/11 since today is the anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And for those of you who don't know what the 9/11 terrorist attacks were, they were basically attacks that were taken out by terrorists of the Taliban on New York as well as the Pentagon in Washington. In New York at the World Trade Centers, the two towers, or the Twin Towers as they're known as, and another plane went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, Flight 93. But yeah, I figured I'd do this vlog to talk about the facts of 9/11 and where I was and what I thought when this event happened, and basically I figured I'd also do this vlog in honor of all the brave men and women who died trying to save people in this terrible tragedy in both the Pentagon and in the World Trade Center. So yeah, I figured I'd start off by listing the facts about 9/11, well, the facts that I got from CNN and the CTV news channels, because I was watching the memorials today. I'd like to say that they were very moving, very touching memorials. I really liked watching them. It's sad that we have to have something like that because of having such a horrible tragedy. And before I continue, I'd just like to say that my hearts and prayers go out to the families that lost loved ones on this unfortunate, devastating day on September 11th, 2001, 10 years ago. And yeah, so I figured I'd start off with the facts of 9/11, and then I'd go on what my thoughts were when the day happened. So basically, on September 11th, 2001, 2,983 men and women lost their lives in the terrorist attacks at the Pentagon and at the World Trade Centers and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania when Flight 93 crashed. 9:03 a.m., Flight 195 struck the South Tower. At 9:32, the North Tower got struck by yet another plane. At 9:37, Flight 77 struck the Pentagon. At 9:59, the South Tower fell. At 10:03 a.m., Flight 93 crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, at a little forest outside Shanksville, Pennsylvania. 10:28, the North Tower fell, 102 minutes after being struck, and hit 29 minutes after the South Tower. And yeah, that's basically all the event things that I got for that. And now I figured I'd move on and talk about where I was and what my thoughts were when this happened. I basically remember where I was well. I was in history class in public school when this happened. And I remember it because I was in the portable. We were watching this news story, and I remember it coming over the news, and basically, from what I can recall of it, I remember being shocked and very surprised that something like that had happened. I couldn't believe it at first. It was just one of those things where it's hard to believe it when you see it, type of thing like that. And yeah, I know a lot of people in my class were getting emotional because they had relatives that were in the World Trade Center, and as well they should be, because a lot of people lost their lives in the World Trade Center. And around the time that I found out about the attacks, it was shortly after the South Tower had gotten hit. And I was really surprised. Kind of threw off my concentration for the rest of the day because I couldn't really concentrate after hearing that. It's really sad for the people who were in the tower and got injured. And yeah, I was just really surprised by it. I couldn't believe it happened. Couldn't believe how many people had died when I found out later how many people had perished and got injured and stuff like that. It was one of the biggest terrorist attacks, as many of you know. And it was also the start of the war on terror in Afghanistan. It's basically what started the big war that's currently happening between the US and Canadian forces battling the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. And the war's still going on, even though Osama bin Laden's dead. Me personally, I don't think that Osama bin Laden's dead, and I know some of you are saying, well, they said it on the news, so he must be dead. And the reason I don't think he's dead, or the reasons I don't think he's dead, is because the guy, I'm sure the guy has a lot of lookalikes, and another reason I have doubts about Osama bin Laden actually being dead, is the fact that they never showed any pictures of his dead body on TV. And I know some people are saying, well, they can't show that on TV because what if some little kids see that? And I can understand that, but at the same time they should have showed a picture of his dead body, because then that way people would know that he's actually dead. Because for all we know, that Navy SEALs or U.S. Marines that undertook the operation that went into the compound and killed bin Laden, that might have just been a look-alike, and they might have realized it later, found out that it wasn't bin Laden, and then, not to make themselves not look bad, they could have said that it was bin Laden when it was merely just a look-alike, so that it would put everybody's mind at ease and make them think that bin Laden was dead, even though he might still be alive somewhere out there. So personally, until I see a picture of bin Laden's dead body, I will continue to believe that there's a possibility he's still alive. It's okay if some of you out there don't believe he's alive. You're entitled to that. And he could be dead. I'm not saying that there's not a strong possibility that he is actually dead, but I just don't believe it. And until they show me a picture of his dead body, I'm not going to believe it. But anyway, this event affected the world greatly. My heart, like I said before, my heart goes out to the family, the families that lost loved ones in this horrible tragedy, both at the Pentagon and at Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and at the World Trade Center towers. And what's interesting about this day is the fact that the Flight 93 crew and passengers actually went down as heroes. They tried to prevent the plane from crashing at its target, and they were successful in diverting the plane and making sure it didn't crash into its target. They stopped the 4 terrorists that were on board Flight 93 from crashing into their target. They were able to get the plane crash into a forest. So they basically saved a lot of lives. So I salute them. I salute them for their noble act. At least they went down fighting when it all happened. And yeah, so I just wanted to say my heart goes out to all the families that lost loved ones. It was a terrible tragedy, 9/11. It's a shame so many people had to die, and it's one of those events that you'll always remember. Like, I don't think I'll ever forget the events of 9/11. They're etched in my mind. I didn't have anybody personally that died in 9/11, so I can only imagine what the families who did have relatives that died, relatives and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles that died in 9/11 are feeling. I'm sure there's a lot of emotion that they're feeling today. A lot of sadness, which is understandable. can't be easy to mourn the loss of their loved ones. And it's just a sad day for all of America. And we have made progress on the war against terror, but I don't think the war will ever end until all of the Al-Qaeda is defeated, and makes you wonder if that day will ever come when all of Al-Qaeda is defeated and there's no longer any threat to America or the Canada. And yeah, so I just thought I'd do this little tribute vlog to all the men and women out there serving in the US Army. I salute you. And in the Canadian Army. Don't think I forgot about you people, because I am of course a Canadian, and I'm proud of both the US forces and the Canadian forces that are out there in Afghanistan and other places in the world fighting against terrorism and fighting to keep us all safe and sound and from another disaster like 9/11 happening. So to them, I salute you. You are all stars, you are all heroes, and you are all never be forgotten for your sacrifice of what you've done. Lost a lot of lives in the war in Afghanistan, but at least we're fighting to keep our country free and the US free from terrorism. So I salute those people. My heart goes out to all the families that are grieving today. 9/11. Oh, and I also want to talk about something else. Apparently there was a truck bomb that went off at a NATO base in Afghanistan. 77 people were injured. Thankfully, none of them were killed, or at least according to the report on the news, none of them were killed. And it's an unfortunate event this happened. My heart goes out to all those who were injured in that attack, and I hope you get better sooner rather than later, because according to what I heard, the injuries are minor. They could have been a lot worse, so that's a good thing, that they weren't a lot worse and that nobody got killed. But my heart goes out to those people who got injured in this attack. Another cowardly attack by Al-Qaeda or the Taliban. And yeah, anyway, feel free to comment below and share your thoughts on where you were when 9/11 happened back in September 11th, 2001. Where you were, what you thought of it, did it affect your family, stuff like that. I'd love to hear your stories. I'm always interested in hearing stories that people have to share. Or you could do a video response to this video, and I'll be sure to watch it and comment on it when I have the chance. And yeah, so if you want to do that, feel free. I would love to hear what some of you have to say about 9/11, and yeah. So this is another short little XX vlog of Max, my 9/11 tribute video. I'm of course Max Callan, and this video is dedicated to all the men and women who are currently serving in Afghanistan, fighting the war on terror, to all the men and women who lost their lives at the World Trade Center attack, the Pentagon attack, and all the people that lost their lives when Flight 93 crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So to all of you and all of the families, my heart goes out to you. This video is dedicated to you as well. I'm sorry it's not much of a tribute video. I wish I could make it a little better, but I don't really have the technology on my computer to make it a little bit better. And yeah, just figured I'd make this video. Hope you all like it. And I'm Max Callan, of course. I will see you later. Hope you like this tribute video. And yeah, God bless America, God bless Canada, and my heart goes out to all of those who lost loved ones. But anyway, later people.